The Dallas Cowboys are one of the most popular teams here in the United States, and many people like to call them America's team. Even though it should be the New York Yankees, not important. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys have won 5 Super Bowls, the most recent one back in 1995. Like the Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Braves, the Dallas Cowboys were an insane dynasty back in the 90s. Even when they didn't make the Super Bowl, they were still pretty fun to watch. And here we are in the year 2020. The Dallas Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since, again, 1995, having playoff meltdowns against the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. So the big question and the main point of today's video is what happened to this Dallas Cowboys team? What caused them to fall off of their crazy success, and why they haven't won a Super Bowl in over 20 years? Well, let's find out, shall we? So our story starts off in the year, obviously, 1990. The Dallas Cowboys head coach was Jimmy Johnson, and the offensive and defensive coordinators were David Shula and Dave Wanstead. Hopefully I'm saying that right. 24-year-old Troy Aikman was entering his second year in the NFL and was the first-string quarterback leading the Cowboys offense. His weapons were wide receivers Elvin Martin and Michael Irvin, tight ends Jay Novacek and Robert Awalt. Hopefully I'm pronouncing these names right. And, of course, we can't forget about running back Emmitt Smith, who was 21 years old at the time. The defense was led by Danny Stubbs, Dean Hamill, Danny Noonan, Jim Jeffcoat, Jimmy Washington, and Ray Horton. I'm probably missing some people. Let me know in the comments if I'm missing anybody. So, yeah, this Cowboys team, I guess in the 1990 wasn't really great on paper, and they really showed. Opening day versus the San Diego Chargers, they actually won by 3, 17-14. Cowboys ended up losing the next 3 games, 2 games against the New York Giants and a game against the Washington Redskins. The Cowboys finished 7-9, finishing 4th in the NFC East, with the New York Giants winning the division. At the time, Phoenix Cardinals were in last because, well, there was no Southern Division, not the point. The Cowboys finished the next season 11-5. Entering the NFL playoffs as a wildcard team facing the Chicago Bears, which they won 17-13, and moved on to play the Detroit Lions at Pontiac Silverdome, losing 38-6, which of course isn't good. I guess something ain't good that did come from 1991. They had Emmitt Smith leading the league in rushing yards and Michael Irvin leading the league in receiving yards. Things were looking better for the Cowboys in 1992-93 season. As they finished 13-3, the Cowboys took down the Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional round 34-10. They met the San Francisco Giants in the NFC Championship game at Old Candlestick Park, which they shared with the baseball team San Francisco Giants. The Cowboys and 49ers met each other 12 years before, back in 1981 in the NFC Championship. The 49ers won by 1 point, 28-27. The Cowboys got their revenge on San Fran and cruised to a 30-20 victory, taking in on the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, winning 52-17, the most points the Cowboys scored that season besides a regular season game against the Atlanta Falcons. Troy Aikman was named MVP, completing 73.3% of his passes, 273 passes, 4 touchdowns to Emmitt Smith, Jimmy Jones, and Ken Norton, and gave up no interceptions. The 1993 season was pretty much Groundhog Day for Dallas. Won the NFC East, defeated the 49ers in the championship game, and took down the Bills in the Super Bowl. Sounds like fun. The 1993-94 Cowboys had 11 players going to the Pro Bowl, being Aikman, Smith, Irvin, Johnson, Russell Maryland, Nate Newton, Ken Norton, Jay Novacek, and Mark Stepnowski, and Eric Williams. The 1994 Cowboys were also a little different. Jerry Jones hired Oklahoma State head coach Barry Switzler to take over Jimmy Johnson. Ken Norton left the team in free agency to join the 49ers. Traitor, I know. And Kevin Gogan, who joined the Oakland Raiders. So they drafted Larry Allen from Sonoma State to take over the spot. The Cowboys were wanting around 3 at the Super Bowl coming into 1984. Opening day versus the Pittsburgh Steelers was an easy 26-9 victory and another big win over the Houston Oilers, going up 2-0 in the season. Week 3 versus the Detroit Lions would be their first loss of the year, with the score 20-17 in overtime. 2017, like the year. Cowboys finished 12-4, beating the Green Bay Packers in the divisional round, and this time lost to, yep, you guessed it, San Francisco 49ers, missing out on another Super Bowl shuffle. To help solve their problems, I'm sorry, why would you want to cause all your problems? You want to solve your problems. Anyway, sorry. To help solve all their problems from the previous season, Jerry Jones made a huge splash and signed Deion Sanders from the free agent market. The Cowboys ran away with the NFC East again, hosting the divisional round against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys won, of course, 30-11, playing Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers in the championship. Cowboys ran away with the NFC and won their 5th Super Bowl title against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So far, we have talked about the Cowboys' successes in the 1990s. So when did they start to fall off? Well, this is when they started to struggle. As we entered the 1996 season, the team started to suffer through injuries often on the football field. Going into December, defensive tackle Leon Lett had a 1-year suspension for failing a drug test for narcotics. Michael Irvin and Eric Williams were accused of assaulting a Dallas woman. And when things looked like things were... Oh boy, YouTube notification. Where was I? Oh yeah. When things looked like things couldn't get worse for the Cowboys, Emmitt Smith and Charles Haley had some injury problems. The Cowboys managed to pull off a 10-6 record, entering the NFL playoffs as a wild-card team, playing the Minnesota Vikings, thumping them 40-15 before they got thumped themselves against the Carolina Panthers. The team missed the 1997 playoffs for the first time since the 1990 squad. 1998, the Cowboys were eliminated in the wild card by the Arizona Cardinals, and the 1999 team barely missed the playoffs and lost to the Vikings. So with a miserable second half of the 1990s, nobody didn't exactly know what the Cowboys were going to be like when the 2000s came around. Dave Campo came in as the new Cowboys head coach, with offensive and defensive coordinators Jack Riley and Mike Zimmer. The Cowboys went 5-11, losing 2 of those games in overtime against the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles. When the season was over, Troy Aikman called it a career. New York Giants had an extremely good season led by Kerry Collins and head coach Jim Fassel interfering with the Cowboys' season. Fast forward to 2003, the Cowboys made the playoffs for the first time in almost 4 years. They didn't go far, though, losing to the Carolina Panthers. This was also around the time Tony Romo stepped in the quarterback role in 2005. The defense improved, adding in DeMarcus Ware, Kevin Burnett, and Chris Candy. The 2005 team improved a little bit by finishing 9-7, not making the playoffs, and stayed the same, finishing around 500, either making or missing the playoffs. That's how the Cowboys have been ever since. Jerry Jones is considered to be a top NFL villain. No one likes Jerry Jones. Tony Romo was struggling with injuries, with Dak Prescott taking over the QB role. And when they did have a good season, it was ruined by either the Green Bay Packers or the Seattle Seahawks. Oh yeah, I forgot. They go through head coaches like my grandma goes through reading glasses. Seriously. So yeah, that's from what we know that's been going on with the Cowboys ever since the 90s. They had a great first half, winning 3 Super Bowls. Towards the second half of the decade, they struggled. well, then to the 2000s, and the team hasn't won a Super Bowl since 1995. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.